All right, so let's talk Yankees. 4-game series at Fenway this past week. And the Yankees took 3 out of 4 in a very meaningless, boring series. I'm about done with the season. I'm just waiting for it to end. There's nothing exciting to watch or talk about now that Dominguez is gone. And let's get through it. Let's talk. There are still some, talking points that are important to go over, so we'll do that in this episode of the podcast. So here we are, episode 560 of the show. Welcome to BD4. I'm your host, RJ Carbone. The Yankees take 3 from Fenway in the final Yankees-Red Sox series of the year. And we'll get to it all here in this episode of BD4. Let's get to the podcast, get to the intro, and get started. Welcome to BD4, an RJ Carbone podcast. BD4, where there is no better way to get your Yankees and Knicks analysis. We also do MMA. Yanks every series, Knicks every game, MMA on occasion. BD4 is a 5-star show on Apple Podcasts, also available in video format on YouTube and Spotify. So thanks for stopping by, and we hope you enjoy the show.
Champion of the world, turning, looking, see ya!
Anthony for 3, bang! That one goes down, and the game is tied!
Time! Penetrates, creates, and showing some dexterity as well with the left hand.
Yankees win!
All right, let's go. Again, off the top of my head, off the top of the show here, we're just gonna. I don't know where you've been if you haven't heard. You're living under 10 rocks. But Jason Dominguez, obviously done for the year. But it was reported earlier this week or recently that he is officially opting for Tommy John surgery. I believe he's booked for next week to get the surgery, and that's going to be on his right UCL. Cupcake says that it's going to be 9 to 10 months, which means if he's saying 9 to 10 months, it's going to be, in translation, at least 10 months for recovery. But no, I'm still sticking by what I said, to be honest. I still think it's late July, early August. If we see him, I just... The Yankees, things always go wrong, and they're always conservative when they're bringing guys back. And we have to remember Jason Dominguez won't have a winter camp. He's not going to have a spring training. So his opening day will be when he gets back. So he's probably going to do a very long rehab assignment, or they'll probably just throw him in AAA for a while when he does return. And so who knows how long it'll be before we see him with the Yankees, and who knows how long it'll be before he's at full strength. Probably not until 2025. But he's done. Hopefully that's the last time we have to talk about Jason Dominguez this year, because if I hear his name again, or if I have to mention his name again, I'll just get depressed. I'll go right back into that rabbit hole of depression, because he was the only reason I was watching. Jonathan Loaisiga, the newest, with right elbow inflammation. Yeah, it's every single day. It's unbelievable. He's done for the season. Just like Hamilton, just like Middleton. All these guys just dropping like flies. Unbelievable. Right elbow inflammation for him. He's always hurt this guy. If he has to get another surgery, if this is more serious than they're letting on, and a lot of the times it is, he's cooked. Because he already had a surgery, I believe, back in May to remove the bone spur in his elbow. It sucks, man, because this guy, I like Loaisiga. Johnny Lasagna, I like him a lot. I think he's a damn good pitcher with some incredible stuff. Anybody who can throw a 100-mile-an-hour two-seamer, right, that he can put a little sink on it and he can put arm side run to it, with the good changeup to mix in, that's a damn good reliever right there. He's a good pitcher. He's just never, ever, ever healthy. He's never healthy. And because of that, you know what? You might have to try dangling him in front of a few ball clubs who are in need of an extra arm. Because I'm kind of just done, man. I'm done with the injuries. I've been done. But anybody who goes down from here on out can take a fucking hike. Like, I'm sorry. I'm done with you. I've never seen anything like this in my life. 28 years old, and I've been watching sports all my life. It's unbelievable. Something that's believable is Chaim Bloom was fired from Boston. That was earlier today, and today I'm recording this Thursday night, September. December's coming up. Jesus Christ. Thursday night, December. Let's try that one more time. I'm recording this episode Thursday night, September 14th. And earlier today, Chaim Bloom of the Boston Red Sox was fired, let go. That whole era under him was just a disaster class for those scumbags over there. I mean, he came in kind of during that rebuild, so he was forced to trade Betts, but he got nothing from the Betts deal. He also attached David Price's contract to that deal. I know he was basically walking into that, but he got zero for him. That's just an awful, awful, awful move to introduce yourself. You can't trade a top 5 player and then get zero. So I don't want to hear anyone saying that it's not on him. That's like someone giving you their Ferrari and telling you, here, flip this. And then you flip it, but you flip it for $500,000. Like that's exactly what that is. That's on you. A lot of shit went wrong. Not bringing back Kyle Schwarber, and then Hunter Renfroe for Jackie Bradley. And the pitching always seems to be terrible every single year. Like their pitching staff it sucks. Their bullpen is garbage fluid. Their starting rotation never seems to have any kind of big name, and if it is a big name, it's Corey Kluber, it's James Paxton, it's washed up veterans. They had the Trevor Story deal. That's been garbage for them. I mean, it's just they had a 2021 season that looked like it was pretty promising, and they never really built off that. And Chaim Bloom comes in, and now Boston is on the verge of placing in last place for the 3rd season in 4 years under this guy. And so, yeah, I mean, as an outsider speaking, again, I don't know all the details, so I'm not trying to tell Boston fans how to feel, but that's fireable to me. It's unbelievably amazing that Boston, their front office is no grade A example. John Henry's nothing special. But Boston at least still has the competence to recognize when something's not working and change it up. They realized when an executive isn't doing his job, let's move on from that guy. Brian Cashman, 20-something odd years later, is still a New York Yankee. That's amazing. After everything that's happened from 2018 on, he is still here, and it's somehow gotten worse. He's still here. He's still sitting here. We know the answer. He's tight with Hal and the Steinbrenner family, but it's unbelievable the difference there. And again, Boston, their front office, John Henry, nothing special. But they certainly look like it when you compare them to how the Yankees are operating now. But this Yankees-Red Sox series, man, it was dead. I'm sorry. There was nobody there. I heard that they were selling tickets for $1. I saw a tweet. Somebody sent me that, and I was like, wow. You talk about a dead rivalry. There you go. There's just no pop right now. Both teams suck. If one team's good, the other team is usually sucking. It's very rare where these two teams have been good at the same time. And I said dead. I do want to get that straight because I feel like dead is way too final of a word to use. Dead is final. Death is final. It's in a down point because when people call the rivalry dead, I always disagree with that because these two teams they're pioneers of the game. They've been around for ages. So there are going to be dead points and high points. This is just one of those points along the way. We're going to hit a high point again where both of these teams are riding high and hate each other. I'm sure it's going to be like the early 2000s at some point again. But right now, we're not there. At some point, yeah, baseball continues. And it's going to, a broken clock is right twice a day. So eventually, I do believe that the rivalry will refuel to a degree. And this is just part of time. You're going to have ups and downs in a rivalry. And right now, it's down. But, yeah, I can't say these games are exciting. Both of these two teams suck. They're out of it. Nobody cared about this series. And it sucks that baseball fans, this year we're excited to turn on ESPN, Sunday Night Baseball, Fox games, all these nationally televised games between the Yankees and the Red Sox, and both teams have sucked. So they didn't really get good baseball. This was a weird series because I don't remember ever having two doubleheaders in one series against Boston. We've had a lot of rainouts over the years. I do remember there was the infamous 5-game series where the Yankees, I think this was back in August of 07 or 06. Might have been August of 06, where the Yankees and Red Sox had a lot of rainouts and postponements. So they had a 5-game series, and the Yankees swept the Red Sox in all 5 games. And it might have been in Fenway. I just remember I was going nuts. My cousin and I were going nuts, getting all cocky, and like the headlines of the papers said like Boston Massacre. It was a crazy time. I do remember that, the 5-game sweep. But as for this year, the Yankees and Red Sox are officially done. And with the 3 out of 4, the Yankees officially split the season against Boston. In this series, they swept the doubleheader on Tuesday, and they split the doubleheader today. So we'll get into it all right now. Let's talk about this series. Episode 560 of BD4 here. Let's get to the game. Let's get to the 2 games on Tuesday. We'll start with Game 1 as soon as we return from break. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
We appreciate you sticking around and listening so far. When you have a chance, be sure to open YouTube to subscribe, like, and comment. And if you're already watching on YouTube, be sure to head over to Apple Podcasts and give us a 5-star review. We appreciate your feedback and are always looking to improve. Now, with that all said, let's get you back to the show.
All right. Welcome back to the show. I'm your host, RJ Carbone. So, Game 1 of this series took place on Tuesday. It was a day game because of the doubleheader. Because of the rain, it ended up being a doubleheader. It was supposed to be a Monday game. But Tuesday, Game 1, the Yankees won over the Red Sox 3-2. Randy Vasquez went up against Nick Pivetta. Bottom of the 4th inning, Rafael Devers hits the home run. And then Vasquez throws the wild pitch. A runner scores from third. It's 2-0. Vasquez ends up going 3 2/3. Top of the 6th, DJ LeMahieu doubles in a run. And then Gleyber singles in one. So it's 3-2 Yankees all of a sudden. After Vasquez, it was Brito, Kahnle, Peralta, Holmes for 5 1/3, and they would lock it down as the Yankees would win 3-2. 3 runs on 5 hits, 14 strikeouts, and they were 2 for 5 in scoring position. LeMahieu a double, an RBI. He also struck out very angrily in this game, threw the bat, but he got the first Yankee hit from someone not named Kyle in the 6th inning with that double down the line. Just 5 hits overall. Gleyber had 2 RBIs. Higashioka 3 of those hits. And the Yankees couldn't touch Pivetta for a while. I mean, he was striking out the world. He had 10 strikeouts to his first 14 batters. They finally got to him later. But He had the swing and miss stuff with the off speed. Vasquez, again, 3 2/3, 2 runs. He lost a little command late in the game, late in his outing, I should say, and that got him in trouble at the end. He misplaced a cutter to Devers, which Devers pulled for a home run. He threw the wild pitch to Abreu that scored the other run. Walked Abreu after that, and from there he was pulled, so he lost the zone. But the bullpen, everybody in the bullpen got it done. No runs. Holmes did struggle again. He walked 3, but he got out of it with a double play to end the night. And the Yankees would win again 3-2. The second game of the series and the doubleheader, the Yankees took it 4-1. Carlos Rodon went up against Cutter Crawford. In the bottom of the first, you have the leadoff home run surrendered by Rodon. Then he gets into a jam. It's looking very ugly, but he finds a way to get out of it, just 1-0. Second inning, he gets in trouble again, but he escapes again. Top of the fifth, the Yankees get on the board with a Florial single. Run scores 1-1. Top of the sixth, Jake Bauers, an RBI dribbler in the infield, 2-1 Yankees. Rodon goes 5, 1 run allowed. Top of the eighth, Peraza singles to left field, but IKF gets caught going from second base to home. And then in the ninth inning, Gleyber singles. Then you had the catcher interference overturn. It's 4-1. And the Yankees would win 4-1. They sweep the first doubleheader of the series. 4 runs on 9 hits, 4 for 16 in scoring position. Gleyber Torres, 2 hits. Every Yankee except for Judge in this game picked up a hit, but Judge did have 2 walks. And then Florial, Gleyber, Wells, Bauers picked up an RBI. Rodon, 5 innings, 1 run, 4 hits, 4 walks, 9 strikeouts, a homer allowed, and 93 pitches. We will discuss him a little more later. The bullpen, McAllister got it done. A bunch of randoms in this game. He made a nice play to first. Then this guy, I don't know his name, Misowitz, comes in. He gets into and out of trouble in the bottom of the 7th. Matt Bowman, a friend of the show, comes in and does his job in the 8th inning. Then Nick Ramirez comes in, gets the save in the 9th. So 4 men right there. I saw a tweet. 4 men who do not fear Fenway Park. Thought that was awesome. This was the first game, I believe, it was the first game all year where Anthony Volpe did not appear in. I know a few weeks ago he pinch hit, but this might have been the first game where he did not play in. And then after the game, this was Yankees social media let you know this. Aaron Boone's 500th win on Tuesday night as a New York Yankees manager. So I just, I'm laughing because I just love the irony. Because the only people celebrating 500 or giving him props to 500 wins are the same people telling you not to criticize Boone because it's the roster that goes out there and wins and loses, right? Yet they're the first ones to throw him a pizza party over a pretty meaningless statistic like this. And yes, I think it's meaningless. Is there anything more meaningless than for a New York Yankees manager than a regular season win statistic? I mean, come on, man. What the hell has he actually done to elevate those guys? 500 regular season wins. That number to me is still 0. Aaron Boone has 0 wins in reality because there is only one type of win when you're a New York Yankee. And I think we all know what that is. I would hope. But yeah, it's like you guys, cupcake supporters will be the first ones to jump on you and tell you that it's not his fault when the Yankees lose games because it's the roster construction. But then something like this happens, and they're the first ones to jerk them off. So I just found that funny. But yeah, I don't celebrate exhibition statistics. So no. Thursday, the first game of the second doubleheader, game 3 of the series, the Yankees lost to the Red Sox 5-0. Michael King pitched against Tanner Houck. Two ground ball guys pitching. This was a Prime Video game. Prime Video baseball game. Bottom of the first, Abreu for Boston rips the RBI single. 1-0. It was an inning that could have been a lot worse. King got into a jam, but you'll live with 1-0. Top of the fourth comes. Glaber has the leadoff double, but he was stranded. King ends up going 4 2/3 before he's done. Top of the sixth, Glaber, another leadoff double, but was later caught in a crucial spot going from third to home because he's Glaber Torres, and that's what he does. And the Yankees end up stranding 2 there in the inning. Top of the seventh, Greg Weissert in for his second full inning of work. He allows a solo home run. Did look more competitive, but he's Greg Weissert. So it's 2-0 Boston. Top of the eighth, Bowman is in. He puts the game to bed and allows 3 more runs. And so it's 5-0 Boston after 8. And the Yankees lose their first game of the doubleheader. No runs on 6 hits. 0 for 10. 0 for 10 in scoring position. Glaber and Peraza had 2 hits. Glaber's were doubles. Florial and Oswaldo a base hit. Oswaldo also had 2 walks. Michael King, 4 2/3, a run, 6 hits, a walk, 8 strikeouts. More on him later. And that was Game 3 of the series. Game 4 of the series, the second of the doubleheader. The Yankees win 8-5 tonight. Clark Schmidt went up against the bullpen garbage for Boston. This was a Fox game. Bottom of the first, Anthony Volpe makes the E6 on a potential double play. Couldn't make the proper throw, rough time of the transfer. Throw wasn't great. That allows a run to cross, and then Abreu picks up the RBI single. It's 2-0 Boston. 5-2 Yankees, though, after 2, when DJ LeMahieu picks up an RBI, and then Judge, in the next at-bat, mashes a grand slam. That makes it 5-2 Yankees. Top of the third, Devers hits the leadoff home run, 5-3. Volpe doubles in the fifth, but he's stranded. Bottom of the fifth, Volpe makes another huge error on a throw to first base. Could have argued that DJ should have gotten it, but it wasn't a great throw. Run scores, it's 5-4 Yankees now. Schmidt was done after 5 1/3. Bottom of the seventh comes. Peralta's in for McAllister. He surrenders the tying run. It was, cue shot off the bat of that young kid, Rafaela. The runner goes from third to home, and so it's a tie game at 5. And in the top of the eighth, Volpe singles, Oswaldo singles, and then DJ rips the 2-out RBI double. After that, Glaber almost gets an extra base hit with the bases loaded, but a nice play by Verdugo in right field ends the inning. Still, the Yankees are up 6-5. And then in the ninth inning, Peraza, 2 big insurance runs when he pulls his first home run of the season, a 2-run shot to left field. It's 8-5, the Yankees win. Kahnle closed it in the ninth. So 8 runs on 12 hits, 6 strikeouts only. LeMahieu 3 hits, Volpe 2 for 5, a double, Peraza 2 for 5, 2 RBIs, a double, Judge 1 for 2, a grand slam, 4 RBIs and 3 walks. Schmidt 5 1/3, 4 runs, 3 earned, 7 hits, 3 strikeouts, 3 walks, a hit batter, and 88 pitches. So it definitely wasn't his best effort. He labored a lot more. Continues to put guys on base. That's 7 hits plus 3 walks. That's 10 hit batters, 11 base runners in 5 1/3 innings. That's terrible. But again, the fact that he wasn't helped by his defense, Volpe a couple times, Glaber Torres not great, and he only surrendered 4 runs, 3 of them earned. Fine, you'll take it. He made the mistake to Devers. So does every Yankee. So a good outing, a fine outing. I don't want to say good, but enough from Clark Schmidt in the bullpen. McAllister and Peralta weren't great, but Kahnle was nails for 2 innings, and the Yankees would win. Speaking of Clark Schmidt, I guess we can get into this now or next. There was a rumor, and we'll get into it now. There was a rumor, there was a report that came out today. I don't know how true this is because it's just absurd for the Yankees to even say yes to something like this. But there was a report that came out that apparently the Yankees and the Red Sox obviously they never do deals together, very rarely. They were about to swap Clark Schmidt for Alex Verdugo at the deadline. The deal fell through for whatever reason, but that was the report today. So take it as you may. I don't know how true it is, but I'm just, there's no way that could have been true, because why would the Yankees ever say yes to something like that? Why would you move Clark Schmidt, who has 4 more years of control after this season left on his contract, for Alex Verdugo, who only has 1 more year left? Why would you ever consider something like that? Starting pitching is way too valuable today. And the Yankees are in desperate need for starting pitching, just as bad as they're in desperate need for bats. Let's be honest. They got question marks all over the rotation. Domingo Germán is a mess. We don't even know if he's going to be back. Nestor Cortez is questionable right now with the injury. He's a question. Rodon looks like a terrible contract right now. We're trying to turn Michael King into a starter. We'll talk on that in a second. Outside of Garrett Cole, it's been a mess. So they need starting pitching. I don't know why you would do that. Clark Schmidt is a young, controllable righty with good stuff. He has been solid all year for you, and there's a good chance that this is Clark Schmidt's floor, that there's an upside he could still reach. So you don't give away a controllable pitcher like that for a guy who's soon to be a rental. That just does not make any sense. So I saw that and I almost lost my shit. You don't do that. Alex Verdugo isn't even that good. I'm not doing something like that, and that's exactly the opposite of what I want the Yankees to do in the outfield. I want them to spend and actually get legitimate young star talent. And the fact that this was the deadline when they were talking about this, it's not even it makes more sense now because you don't have Dominguez and now you need 2 outfielders, but this was during the deadline. But speaking of Michael King, he made another start this series. Now has a 1.72 ERA as a starting pitcher this year. Very, very short outings, of course. Today, it was nothing crazy, but he looked fine. Again, seemed like he was primarily slider first, and then he went to the 2-seam. We'll see where this goes, man. Again, I believe he's got the arsenal to do this, right? Good velocity, good movement, great stuff all around. Good command on all of his pitches. Slider, change, 4-seam, the 2-seam. The slider and 2-seam play well versus right-handed hitting. The 4-seam and changeup play well versus left-handed hitting. I need to start seeing him go deeper into games. Some of that is the Yankees trying to build him up. They got to be careful with him. He's not too far removed from the elbow surgery. And if you're converting him to a starting pitcher next year, that means he's going to be going from, 90-something innings pitched this year to potentially 140, maybe 150 innings pitched next year, right? So it's a big jump. I still need to see him go deeper, though. I need a few 6-inning pitched starts here in his last. He's probably got 2 starts left, maybe 3, probably 2. So I want to see more. I want to see how his velocity looks as he goes deeper in the games, deeper in the pitch count. But all in all, I do like what I see. I'm all for the plan to convert him into a starting pitcher. And again, I hope that he can be more than just a number 5 pitcher, talent-wise. Where he fits into the slots in the rotation, whatever. But if we're taking him, who's a valuable relief pitcher, out of the bullpen, my hope is that he's very good as a starter, right? Like a number 3 starter at worst. But yeah, it's something I'm open to, because if there's one thing the Yankees are very good at, it's replacing bullpen talent. They can find good bullpen talent. That's one thing they do consistently well at. What else? Oswald Peraza. I was going to give him an award this series. I gave it to somebody else. I tipped my cap to somebody else, but Peraza was about to get it. He's been hitting. He's showing some life now. In his last 9 games, he's got a .361 average, 11 hits, 6 extra base hits, 6 RBIs. He looks good. He looks good defensively. He's got great hands out there in the field. We know he can play second base at an elite level. He's obviously a great shortstop, his natural position, and he's got a cannon of an arm to where third base could be his new home now. He can run well too. He just, he needs to show some life offensively here. Sometimes he gets a little too swing happy, and if he can start hitting, or I guess at this point, if he can keep hitting, then we have a conversation to have. But he's hit. He's been hitting in his last 9 games, and I need that to keep going. I would like to see Peraza finish the season above 250. That would be a nice thing to take away. I still personally think he's most likely not part of the Yankees' plans next year. I doubt he comes back. But we'll see. And again, I've said it before. I prefer the Yankees go out on the open market and find someone like a Chaim or Candelario. I believe he's, if you're trying to contend and mix veterans with youth, and I think that's a good switch hitting bat who's a solid third baseman to take a look at. I would prefer that just because there's more insurance there. There's more of a reliable option there. But props to Peraza, building up the trade value, and that's very important. We do need assets, so if he can get the Yankees anything in the offseason, that's a win. So good on Peraza. The other prospects, the other kids, rookies, sophomores, they're not hitting. In September, Anthony Volpe, Everson Pereira, Austin Wells, and Oswaldo Cabrera have combined for a 147 batting average across 136 at-bats. Dreadful. Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying they should be anywhere but here, because this is what we all wanted, as we should. Work on your flaws and let them struggle, right? That's my whole mantra. Let them struggle. But these rookies being as bad as they've been is kind of exactly why the Yankees cannot and must not go all in on the youth next year if they want to contend again, right? It's just way too risky to play a bunch of rookies. They have to spend and go in-house. They have to find a blend, because this isn't the Rays. You're the Yankees, right? Even the 2009 team. A lot of homegrown talent, absolutely, sure. But let's not forget, in the winter of 2008, what they did. They spent a boatload on bringing in Teixeira, Burnett, and Sabathia, all very key contributors to that 2009 championship. So, we need these kids to start. That was good. I speak very fast, so that shit's going to happen. Pun intended. We need these kids to start showing something. Start showing something. This way we can either trade you for something or pencil you into next year's plans. Right? I don't know, at this point, 15 games left, 14 games left, whatever there is games left. I don't know if that's enough for me to be to be totally confident in any of these guys next year. But yeah, that's the risky part of wanting to go homegrown. So I think it's important that you find a balance between spending and developing. And the Yankees aren't broke, people. Like we love our homegrown guys, I get that, but this is the New York Yankees. All right, listen, I listen to a lot. I listen to a whole lot of Yankees podcasts. I read a ton of blogs. A lot of content creators are out there doing an excellent job. I'm always listening, tons. And when I hear people, Yankees fans, talk about off-season plans, all I hear from everybody I listen to is, we can get this guy, but not that guy, and this guy's here, but if we get him, he can't come. It's either this guy or that guy, because that means you can't get that guy. It's like, man, I'm just sitting here in myself, and I'm just fucking mystified. I'm just like, I am so amazed. Like, how did we get here? How did we get here? How did we become so goddamn brainwashed into thinking the Yankees actually have this budget? Hal makes it seem like this franchise doesn't breathe cash. They are worth $7 billion. That's the highest of any sports team next to the Dallas Cowboys. Since when? Can't the Yankees sign a Juan Soto and a Bellinger and a Yamamoto if they fucking wanted to? Let's be honest, man. Let's be real. It's just, it's incredible. This team, this owner, these guys can do whatever the hell they want to do. Spend, put together a very strong World Series product, and still be billionaires by the end of it if they really wanted to. But they simply don't. Because they want to be even more rich than they are. They prefer being billionaires over millionaires. That sounds so silly. Because it is so silly. So all I'm saying is, you either got to commit to winning at all costs or not. Because it makes zero sense to have an Aaron Judge on this roster and a Garrett Cole on this roster being paid what they are, and then to fucking walk on eggshells outside of that and nitpick and play small market money ball like you're the Oakland A's. So if you're going to be paying those guys the money they are, and you're trying to win with them, then go all in. Then stop half-assing it. Stop being halfway in, halfway out. Enough is enough. Because you can't win like that. You can't win nitpicking and doing this but not that. You can't do it like that. You're not winning by playing Moneyball. So I say spend as much as you need to. Piss people off. Spend money. Buy a championship. Use some of your homegrown talent, yes. But spend money too. Spend money. Blend homegrown with veterans. Win a championship that way. Sit back. Laugh. Count your rings while all 29 other fan bases complain about buying championships. Because that's how it should be. Be the evil empire again and do that shit. I'm just getting a little tired of this make-believe budget that we've got in our heads now, because Hal and the Yankees have brainwashed us into thinking the Yankees are financially strapped. We need to snap the fuck out of it, because they're actually not. It's something that's just been building up, because the way we've all been talking has been, it's just we're all stuck in this fucking, like a herd of sheep, where it's like we totally free. It's like, oh yeah, they're the Yankees. What are we even talking? Like, they can. It's just they won't. They love money. I don't know, but it's insane How we are now in this reality where we have to talk about, well, we can do this, but we can't do that if we do this because we don't have the money. No, we do have the money. We don't have the hunger. You can want a championship, but you can also want to die for a championship. Let's wrap this up when we get back by tipping our caps to 3 Yankees. Stay with us. Be right back.
You can also find us on social media. If you'd like, you can follow BD4 on Facebook, and we're at BD4Pod on both Instagram and Twitter. We appreciate you helping us grow more and more every day. Let's get back to it. If you have time in the day or maybe just prefer old-fashioned reading over listening, then you can always follow along and subscribe to BD4 Blog by going to bd4blog.com. We're not on there as often, but when we do post, it's just as entertaining, opinionated, and passionate as we are on this podcast. Thank you so much. And let's keep on with the show.
Welcome back to the show. I am your host, RJ Carbone. You are listening to episode 560 of the podcast. We didn't make out graphics for these guys, but yeah, there's, no point right now. But I'm tipping my cap this series to DJ LeMahieu out of the starting lineup. DJ batted .444 this series, 4 for 9, and this was after going 0 for 12 in the Milwaukee series. He played 2 of the 4 games, had 2 doubles, one of them being the go-ahead double on tonight's win late in the game. 3 RBIs and a 1389 OPS. And again, he has seemed to have found something under Sean Casey. Before the All-Star break, LeMahieu was at .220 with a batting average, .642 OPS, 7 homers, 27 RBIs, 76 games. Since the All-Star break underneath Sean Casey, he's batting .276 with an .844 OPS, 8 home runs, 15 RBIs, 47 games. So it was good to see, because we talked about on last episode how I was a little bit concerned, the 0 for 12. But it was good to see him pick up 4 hits in 2 games here and bring the power back and start going the other way more. He looked good. We needed that. So I'm still in on him if he continues to do this, closing out the rest of the year, coming back next year as the utility man. I don't want him getting too much playing time, because I feel like the less he plays, the more productive he'll be as he gets older. So yeah, good for him. As we go to the rotation, believe it or not, I am going to tip my cap to Carlos Rodon. Best starting pitcher this series. 5 innings, 1 run. Again, another decent outing, but for fuck's sake, this guy's best outings are all 5 innings. It's insane. It just looks like he has to labor so hard to get outs. It's so frustrating watching him pitch. He finally mixed it up a little more in this outing. He used more than his usual 2-pitch combo. He added 13 curve and 5 change. And then he had his usual fastball slider punch. He had the high fastball going in this game. I will say, on the pitch mix, he showed early with those secondaries. Then he pitched most of the game with his fastball slider combo. And then at the end, he hurled like bunch of curveballs in a row there in that ref center at bat. So it's a little deceiving when you look at the pitch mix, but better than what it's been. You finally got some swing and misses in there with the 9 strikeouts. And you're also starting to hear a little bit about how he works well with Austin Wells. Listen, that's great. And I'm also glad that Austin Wells is doing a nice job behind the plate, which was the initial question mark. But I'm kind of getting tired of this personal catcher thing. Right? The Yankees are paying this guy $160 million to to be able to pitch like an ace or a 1B. He should be able to throw to a catcher, a pitchback, a brick wall, or your 65-year-old neighbor. I do not care. Pitch. You're a big boy. Austin Wells, Kyle Higashioka, Jose Trevino, Big Ben Roarfed. It should not matter. He should be able to pitch well consistently. None of that should matter. And again, we're giving him props. 5 innings, 1 run. Eventually, this guy's going to need to go deeper into games. He was a 200 to 220-something, 30-something innings pitch guy, I believe, last year. He gave you more than 5. Definitely did that. So there's nothing left he can do, obviously, for the rest of this year. It's going to be a question mark going into next year. And I'm not sure he's ever going to be that 1B. But the question is, can he reinvent himself a little bit? Can he maybe work with Pettit and add a cutter? Work with Blake and add a changeup or a 2-seamer? I don't know. Can he just be effective? We'll see. But good for him. And then Tommy Kahnle out of the bullpen. I'm giving him my respects. Tipping my cap to Tommy Kahnle for this, I believe, the 6th time this year already. 3 innings pitched this series in 2 outings. No runs, no hits, a walk, 5 strikeouts. Got the win tonight. Or not the win. Yeah, he did. Did he get the win? I think he did get the win. He closed in the 9th because Clay Holmes was under the weather. And looked very good. He looked very, very good. So, good for Tommy Kahnle. Good for Rodon. Good for LeMahieu. Before we wrap it up, I want to bring something interesting up because this was something I saw on social media about the NBA. They have implemented an anti-load management rule where NBA players now have to play at least 65 games, which is about 80% of the 82-game schedule, to qualify for individual awards such as the MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, and other awards. And I'm looking at that and I'm like, wow, I love that so much. I wish the MLB would adopt something like this. So Rob Manfred, take notes from Adam Silver. I love it. I don't know if it's just the Yankees thing, but with the extreme use of analytics, the resting crap has gotten out of control just like the NBA has. And I really believe the MLB should adopt it. And maybe even go a step further and you add incentives to it, right? For, you get paid a certain amount if you get more plate appearances, games played, innings pitched, or you know what I mean? I love it. Play 80% of the season if you want to win an award. I love that. And that would be a good start in the MLB to do something like that because I've always been tired of the whole resting thing. But that was something I saw and I was like, wow, that's interesting. So that's it. We're not going to really dive into anything too deep here. This was a lighter episode, but we did go 50 minutes. So we'll head to break one final time, wrap it up with our trivia, and that'll be that. Stay with us. Be right back. Studio 69 Productions is a podcast production agency created by Leo Rodriguez to allow content creators to market their podcast. It's an online platform that will market your podcast or any other project that you're working on. Get in touch with Leo Rodriguez from Studio 69 Productions. You can find Studio 69 Productions on Instagram at Studio69NJ. Studio 69 Productions, where dreams are heard and born. All right, let's get to it. Episode 560 here, our NYY-NYK-MMA trivia question of the day. for this episode, brought to you by Spotify Podcasts. Name the 3 Yankees who homered consecutively in Game 1 of the 1997 ALDS. Name the 3 Yankees who homered consecutively in Game 1 of the 1997 ALDS. All right, one final time. Name the 3 Yankees who homered consecutively in Game 1 of the 97 ALDS. All right. I'll say it one more time because I believe I messed it up. Name the 3 Yankees who homered consecutively in Game 1 of the 1997 ALDS. So that's it. That's it for this episode. I appreciate you all for stopping by. I'm your host, RJ. We are going to wrap this one up here. I have my new mic in, and I'm going to set it up this weekend, so it should be ready to go for the next show. It's much crisper. I had to wait for the one of the XLR cables to come in the mail so I could finish setting it up. So that should be here by tomorrow night, and then we can have it all set up for the next episode. That's it. Appreciate you all stopping by. That's it for this one. Later. This episode was brought to you by Anchor.
Hey there! If you stayed the entire way through, we thank you immensely for it. We hope you enjoyed this podcast and that you come back for the next episode real soon. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, download these episodes, and share them with your friends as well. BD4 is a 5-star podcast simply because of you. And we'd like to keep it that way. Have a wonderful day. Go Yankees and go Knicks!